Now I really like to use the same bait on the hook as what I'm feeding, and these new pellets, you can put them on the hook and you can feed them. A bit of simple prep is all you need. I'm going to show you all about these simple soft 4 mils. They're absolutely fantastic for catching skimmers, carp, F1s, you name it. Absolutely brilliant, look at them. So without further ado, let's check out these lovely soft pellets and hopefully catch a load of fish while we're at it. Right, welcome back to the channel everyone, and today I'm going to show you all about these new 4 mils that are feed pellets, but you can actually soften them for the hook just as well as you can feed, and I've never seen 4 mils that soak up like these. These are absolutely fantastic. Normally, you've got to be really careful with your 4 mils, haven't you? And if you want to get them on the hook, you need to use an expander or something like that. Or you need to actually put loads of effort into getting them right. But these, I mean, they're just the perfect hook bait and feed bait. And I just, yeah, absolutely love them. Now they're called Prime Attrax. You may remember I used the Prime Attrax ground bait as paste in my last live match actually. I put a link up there for those who haven't seen it. Now I've been in touch with Blakes quite a bit recently and I've been well aware of what they're doing. Great anglers are using their baits. People like Andy Bennett, Paul Holland, Christian Jones, to name just a few. Really good anglers, and if they're developing products, you know they're going to be good. You know, these are anglers who are fishing at the highest level. And I got chatting to Garth at Blake's about different ground bait mixes and whatnot, and paste mixes and you name it. And he says, oh, I've got these pellets, I want to show you them. Like the Prime Attrax, the same as what the ground bait is. And he says they're like a feed pellet, just a standard 4 mil feed pellet, but they're obviously a really high quality pellet that you can actually soak to put on the hook. Now, all I did, in fact, let's go to my kitchen and I'll show you exactly how I did it. So these are the pellets. Sorry about the sun, it's very, very sunny. I'll tell you what, they smell lovely and they look lovely. And I had a little practice soak of them when I first got them. And I thought, do you know what, they're going to be so good for skimmers because they just stay on the hook really well. Almost like a little expander. I'm going to show you how I do that. So let's just show you how much water we're going to put in. Very, very complicated. Good old Tupperware once more. There. So, as you can see, I've just, so the water's in there, like you see, just lipping the top of them pellets. And I'm just gonna put them in the fridge like that. I might turn them over in a little bit, but I'm just gonna go with that to start with. Nice little soak. Put the lid on, stick them in the fridge, and just leave them. And I'm fully confident that they will be lovely little hook pellets by tomorrow and feed. So I'll be able to feed and hook the same pellet. So really, really nice little method. Putting them in that tub like that. So yeah, so that's going to be the bait, feed and hook bait for these skimmers. So the prep was easy. Cover them with water in one of them tubs and then put them in the fridge overnight. What I've been left with is the most perfect batch of 4 mil feed pellets, but the beautiful thing is you can put them on the hook, so you're feeding exactly the same as what you've got on the hook. Now many years ago I used to go to Whiteacres, and what we used to do on Pollowing Lake principally, we used to fish pellets for skimmers, and it was Alan Scott on actually who tweaked it, that rather than using expander on the hook, he was using the softened 4s. Now ever since then I've done it, like used softened 4s on the hook rather than expanders if you can. But they've always been really tricky to prepare, they've always been tricky to get right, as in like they get crumbly, they just fall off, they're a bit of a nightmare. And I've just sort of forgotten about it because it just became such a chore getting your pellets right that I just couldn't be bothered to be truthful. So when they told me about these pellets, I was like, oh my God, I've got to have a look at them. They could be perfect, and I cannot believe how good they are. So I'm going to get some in the swim, and hopefully we can have a nice session. I want to try and catch some skimmers if I can. They look perfect for skimmers. They are the best 4 mils I've seen for a long, long time for soaking. Just brilliant, just beautiful pellets. And they absolutely stink too, so let's get some in the swim and we'll have a look at the rig we're going to use to catch hopefully a few skimmers on these. But yeah, let's get the swim fed first and hopefully we'll catch some nice fish. Right, so I'm going to kick off my session fishing these soft pellets, and I'm just literally going to put in about I don't know, how many is that? 40 pellets, something like that, just in a big pot. And I'm going to actually loose feed over the top with the catty. I'm not going to use a little pot to start with. I'm just going to create a bit of noise, because I do think that when you're skimmer fishing, they do like a bit of noise, and they also like a bit of bait spread around the bottom. So we're just going to accurately feed these, and then I've got a fire bank marker as always, just over there. Just accurately pot them in, just a few, and then I'm just going to pick my catty up while my pot's there, and I'm just going to loose feed like 6 to 8 pellets, just to get me range, and they're just lovely. Just to get me range, and I just find that when I've got the pot there, it sort of just helps me just to get my target in, get me iron. And let's have a quick look at the rig, because I think when you're fishing soft pellets, it's really important when you're fishing for skimmers. A quick look at the rig for these soft pellets. Like I say, I want to catch skimmers. If a carp comes along, obviously great, but I'm hoping to catch some nice skimmers. So I've gone for the yellow zip, 6 to 8, and I've just got about 10 inches, a foot of line, something like that. I'd like to fish it shorter, but you never know, the wind could get up, so we've got to be realistic. Now I'm using 4x16 Cypri, which is a brilliant pellet float. It's got a nice 1.7mm tip, which can be dotted right down, which is important. When you're fishing for skimmers with pellets, quite often the bites are very delicate, especially when you're in a lake that's got a lot of smaller ones. The big ones aren't so much of a problem, but the little ones can be ever so delicate on your tip, and being able to dot a float down is really important. Now I've set that, I've plumbed it up really like as dead depth. I've actually plumbed up onto the bristle, and then just added like a centimetre, so I've been quite critical with how like I've got it plumbed up. Very, very critical that you get it as close to dead depth as possible, I think, for pellet fishing for skimmers. So yeah, Cypri float, 4x16, it's quite deep, it's close to 6 foot, and I wouldn't hesitate to use a heavier one like a 4x18. Now, everything I'm doing is trying to catch fish on the bottom, so my rig like represents that really. And I've got quite a, hopefully you can see that, a positive setup. So these are all number 8 stots, and they're starting quite close together, and they're just getting a little bit further apart to where they're about 2 inches apart, and then I've got a little 3-inch hook length. Very, very positive. So I've got a number 8 just 3 inches from the hook, and then a small spreader shot, but it's all within a foot of the hook. So I'm getting the hook bait down quick, and it's in that killing zone. And then, like I say, especially when them little skimmers are in your peg, a lot of your bites are little lifts or little unders, and you need everything down that bottom end to show up the bites. Really important. Now, bites do show up better with these than they do with expanders, because the pellet's heavy. It's not neutrally buoyant like an expander is. So you've got a bit of weight in the hook, and I talk about that a lot. So bites are quite positive, so don't worry about it too much. But having that shot near the hook helps you no end. Hook wise, I've just got a B911 F1, and it's very, very simple stuff. So yeah, plumbed up. The plumbing is like really important, like I say. Plumbing up to the bristle and then adding a centimetre on. So you could plumb up to the middle of the body if you wanted, but yeah, you want it as cock on as you can. You've got to remember there's a bit of silt though. Normally, if it was a rock hard bottom, I'd plumb up right on the bristle, exactly where I'd want my float shotted. I would do that, but because I know there's a bit of silt here, I've got to just give myself a little bit of leeway. So I've plumbed up to the bristle and added a centimetre, and I find that absolutely perfect. Now these pellets are absolutely cock on. You can just sort of roll them onto the bend of the hook like that. Just perfect, look at that. Right, let's get some fish caught, because I'm itching. I'm itching, absolutely itching. Okay, so let's get into them. Hopefully, anyway. I'm going to kick off, I think, with one of the light ones. There's like light pellets in there. Just got 16 on. I've been looking for pellets like this for so long. Something you can fish for skimmers with. I reckon you could get them on a method. Right, let's get in there. Right, so I'm going to initially kick off by feeding with a catty. Nice. Just going to put like 8 to 10 pellets in. Ooh. Oh, that was a carp. that was a carp that was not on the bottom. Now, I'm not saying that pots are no good. Pots are always good. I just like to fish with softened fours with a catty if I can. Especially on these bigger waters where you've got a bit of depth to play with. I think you pull a lot of fish and you get your swim going, whereas sometimes on them little tiny commercials you can get away with feeding next to nothing with a pot, and that's really good for skimmers. But on these bigger waters like this, I do think being a bit more aggressive can really work. But anyway, let's just work it out as we're going. There we go. Just a little dink on the float, and we've got our first Jimmy Rimmer. I think it's a Jimmy Rimmer. Feels like one. It's got that yellow zip on, which is, I think, about right for this sort of fishing. Oh yeah, there we go. That's what we want, that's what we come for. So just one bite, first chuck in, and we've got what we come for. Top lip, £1.5, absolutely cracking. Simple and effective. Right, let's do that again because I enjoy it. Hopefully you can see. I think these pellets are the dog's doodads, and I've only just got using them. I've only just started and I'm already excited for what these could do. I mean, obviously some venues you've got to use obviously fishery feed pellets, but there's no reason why you couldn't do a little batch of these for the hook, because the thing what you've got to remember is the expanders are great. You catch loads of fish on expanders. They're fantastic, but you haven't got that weight in the hook bait like you have with this, and it makes a big difference in my experience. I think they're going to be just, well, I mean, look. This is going to be, I think these could be like the next big thing for me for skimmer fishing. And look. It's simple, isn't it? You've just got one pot of bait. Just put some pellets on. Put pellets on the end. Roll them on the hook. Shift them out and catch a skimmer. How simple is that? Got a feeling once they get onto this, they're gonna be like on me, these skimmers. They just love pellets, don't they? Now, you could use the greyed down, the pink elastic, and it'd be fine, but they're the ones that you need that shot close to the hook for. I mean, look at that top lip. They're the ones that you can't see the bites off. So having that shot near the hook makes a big difference, in my opinion. Sorry, I got interrupted there. I could easily use the pink elastic, the 4 to 6 for this stamp fish, but I do think that when you're fishing pellets and you're just lifting into the bite, having a little bit more resistance is a good thing, like sets the hook. And so I've gone for the yellow, which as you can see, it's not too strong at all. But yeah, sometimes in deep swims like this, because you're pellet fishing, you're just lifting, you just need to be able to set the hook. And having just a bit more tension is a good thing. So we're just feeding quite lightly at the minute, 10 pellets or so, but more than happy to up it in a bit. Because we're getting, free skimmers straight away. Oh, Joe, I just didn't even react, did I? We're floating under and I just never even bothered to strike. Now, sorry to interrupt the video, everyone. Now, I just wanted to take a minute of your time just to say thanks to everyone who's subscribed. But amazingly, over 60% of my viewers aren't subscribed. Now, it's totally free to do so. I don't charge anything for my watching my videos. But if you could do me a favour, press that subscribe button. It'd mean the world to me. Full disclosure, Blake sent me this bag of pellets. I've got no sponsorship ties with them or anything like that, but they got in touch and they were like, look, we want to have a look at some of our baits. We've just launched these Prime Attrax. Obviously, I used the ground bait as paste in my last live match, and I was very impressed. And I actually spoke to them like, look, I'd love to see the pellets as well. And they were like, well, we think you'll like them because you can soak them, and so you can use them as feed and hook bait. I was like, that sounds interesting. So yeah, they did send me them FOC, but I've got no like sponsorship ties or anything like that. So I just wanted you to be aware, because I don't want anyone thinking I'm trying to pull the wool over their eyes. Look at that, I actually hooked a fish and the pellet's still on. I don't want anyone to think I'm trying to pull the wool over their eyes or anything like that. I just want to show you good products and good bait, and you know, we did with the Miracle Baits one. I actually think that Miracle Baits paste is fantastic. Obviously, I use the Sonu stuff a lot, which I've used for years and I love it. Fuka, I've talked about Fuka. So yeah, just nice that I can actually, now I'm not attached to anyone bait-wise, I can actually be in touch with these firms and actually look at what they've got to offer and report back and show you. It's a nice position to be in. And if there's something that I think is worth talking about, then we'll talk about it, and that is exactly what I think with these pellets, because I think these are a winner. Lovely way to fish this, isn't it? I reckon I could do it even closer in. I'm fishing, like I said, 11-ish metres. Of course, the one benefit of doing this closer in, I won't be getting all this carp bloody wanting to be up in the water. That's one downside of doing it out there. Yeah, look. I don't know if they're carp or what. But I just fed them then, and my flow was like this tiny bite. I love fishing for these. Such interesting fishing. Probably swing that one. Yeah. Lovely little fish though. They're lovely little pellet fish they are. Oh, so impressive with these pellets. They're brilliant. They are so good. Getting giddy with the bait now. Can't help myself. I'm getting bites like this. The only thing I would say, the first fish I caught was obviously, the first two fish I caught were them better ones, and then I've had a few of them little ones since. Which sometimes is the way, but sometimes it's how you're feeding as well, so just need to keep an eye on that, because I would like to catch some better fish. I mean, they're great, but they're great fish to catch. Nice little weight builders, but I'd much rather catch those big old slaboids. But we are early in the session, so great, isn't it? I just think that the simplicity of being able to use on the hook exactly the same hook you're feeding is just, you can't get better than that. it just can't. It's the reason why hard pellets are so good. It's the reason why other baits are so good. You know, it just seems odd, doesn't it? I mean, expanders are great, but they've got a number of disadvantages. Lack of weight, and they're just different, aren't they? They're totally different to what you're feeding. And you can feed expanders. You could do it here. But obviously at some venues you can't. Gonna risk it for a biscuit. Ooh. They are the ones that you can't catch on expanders. Well, you can, but you just can't see the bites off them unless you put a shot 1 inch from the hook. I think these are making all the difference. I think as soon as the fish is taking that bait, I know about it, which is a big deal, in my opinion. I'm not doing anything fancy. I've started to up the bait though, because there's clearly a lot of fish there now. So I was putting like 6 to 8 pellets in before, I'm putting 30 in now. There's a carp there in my bait. Another little one. I think I just need to be a bit steady with the bait. Oh, Joseph. Need to be a bit more careful with the bait. Let's get out of that. Because I've got to remember what I'm trying to catch here. I'm trying to catch skimmers, not carp, and it's not a commercial fishery. So let's just rein it back in. Oh, that was just terrible. That was better. Let's just rein it in. And we might have a bit more success. Roach. Not the target, but welcome all the same. Just had a bit of a funny little spell. I lost a couple of fish. And they're coming off the bottom. And I think I just got a bit carried away with the bait. So I'm just going to reset a little bit. Have a few chucks where I don't feed quite as much. Hopefully the bait that's on the bottom will get out and we can catch a few more. And that's just a nice little light feed. Probably 6 or 8 pellets. I think is probably at the moment the right amount. I got a bit giddy putting loads of pellets in. Oh, there's a fish on there. I think some of them little skimmers about. Just kind of been leaving my peg quiet for a few minutes just to sort itself out. Obviously, got a bit giddy. Maybe created a bit of a build up on the bottom. I mean, that's just like top lit perfection. Amazing. Well, I don't know how much you. Just great fishing, isn't it? Sometimes you just get waters where these skimmers, all they want to eat is pellets. Like if you were to fish maggots and stuff, you'd catch a few of them. Never as many as what you do on pellets. It's just what they eat. that's what they eat. They don't eat live bait, unfortunately, anymore. They just don't see it. Roach again. Get off. Look at that for. Just brilliant. Can even experiment with how I'm hooking these pellets. I'm really putting them on lightly now. Poor from me. Very poor. Next time I put any ground bait in. Obviously ground bait would attract the fish, but I'll just be worried I'll be attracting the wrong fish and making it harder to catch them. I'm keeping things so simple, hooking and feeding the same thing. Just putting ground bait in just complicates the job even more. That's a better one. They're the ones we want. They are the ones we want. Just being patient. Those little fish just seem to disappear a little bit at that time. Good fish, this one. Yep. Big old slammer, isn't it? Look at that. He's a bit of a slimy warrior, that one. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, I've caught that one. I'm just going to change my rig a little bit. Let's have a look, see if we can maybe catch him a bit quicker. I'm going to put 3 number 8s on top of my hook length, and then a little gap, and then my bulk. So I've got like a double bulk there. I'm hoping that just accentuates the bite a little bit, make it a bit more obvious. It's fine when you get like a positive under like that one. But those little skimmers are so delicate, you can't see the bite. Too many pellets, Joe. Stop it. Right, let's see what that does. Now we should get a different bite now. It'll either be a positive under, or it'll be a exaggerated lift. So let's just see what comes our way. Oh my. Fed up the bite alright, off of 1-inch roach. Maybe this ain't quite right. Double bulk. You've got to try these things though. See what we're going to do. We're going to go the other way and actually spread things out a bit more. Let's see if that works. Sometimes, obviously, the fish are, you loose feeding, the fish are following the bait down. So let's try that. Because this, I've caught one, but it's taken a while. Maybe maybe there's a better way. Maybe I should be fishing from on the drop almost. Lovely fishing. So let's just see what we're doing. Put the bulk high up. Right. In fact, I'm going to put it even higher. I'm just going to have those 3 droppers spread out. So I've got bulk probably 2 foot from the hook, and then 3 droppers spread out below. Let's just see. And then what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to flick the rig out. Let's just see. So I've still got that shot close to the hook to obviously give me good bite registration, but now I've got that bulk and droppers. I can flick the rig out a bit and sort of let it come in naturally, and it might just pay off. Because we're loose feeding with a catty, so obviously the fish are going to be up and down and milling around. It might just be that I need to fish a bit more on the drop style. Might work, might not. It's worth trying. You've got to experiment. Little lift there. Wind's making it a bit tricky to see the old float at the minute. In fact, I'm not going to say tricky, I'm going to say impossible. I'll tell you what though, I'm so impressed with these pellets. Obviously we've got plenty of skimmers. The fact that you can hook them and feed them and do whatever you want with them. You can feed them obviously hard if you wanted. Just a cracking bait. Really impressed. Oh no. One downside to when your shot's marking out, a leak. There you go. One to finish on. Feels a good fish and all. I tell you what happened there, as I hooked one, I can't release the peg, which may be why it's gone a bit funny. But with that being said, we just caught one to finish with. Look at that. And that is a lovely hours fishing on the soft pellets, catching skimmers on the pole. I mean, what's not to enjoy about that? That is just fantastic fishing. Simple. I've used not even a pint of pellets. In fact, a quarter of a pint of pellets. And I've caught some lovely skimmers, and I dare say we'd catch a load more if we carried on fishing.